What is up, my friends on the internet? Back at it with another video, and on today's episode we are talking about my Scrambler 900 and specifically its fly screen. Right now it is running a fly screen from Dart Flyscreens over in the UK, but today we are going to take it off. I'm going to go out in the back and get in the workshop because it is very cold outside, and I'll tell you exactly why we're taking it off. So Dart makes 3 fly screens, or at least 3 of which that fit my bike. I'm not sure if there are others. Doesn't really matter to me because I can't get them. But starting out with the shortest one, you have the Piranha. This one looks pretty good, but it is really short. So in the goal of, or in the pursuit of keeping wind off me on the highway, getting the shortest one didn't really make sense, so I didn't even consider it. Next up is the Marlin. It is the one that I have on the bike currently. It is the tallest, but it does kind of curve back in a way that looks kind of speedy, looks kind of racy, as I was saying. So while it is like the tallest in quotes, I think a lot of it is lost because of that curve. And I also don't think it looks so great on a bike that's not really about going fast. If it were on a Thruxton or a Speed Twin or even a Street Twin, I think that would be phenomenal. But on my bike, it just kind of looks a little out of place. Which leaves me with the Classic. As far as heights go, it's right in the middle, which is good. And it looks more, as the name says, classic. So I think it'll look better on this bike. My goal with this build is to kind of create like an OG adventure bike. I want to make this look like an adventure bike before adventure bikes existed, you know? So more rugged, but also still really classic British street bike, you know? And I think the Classic is going to work better for me. So today we're going to take my Marlin off, put the Classic on, compare, contrast, and see which one works best for me. Let's get on into it. The big shortcoming for this fly screen with me is the looks. While it functions really well, I think the looks aren't really fitting the bill, especially now that I've got this headlight cover on there. The bike looks more classic, it looks older, it looks more rugged, and this is just super sporty for this build. So today I'm gonna take it off, replace it with one of its like brand brothers, and see if I can add some style without losing a whole hell of a lot of function. Since both parts are from the same brand, I think this should be a pretty simple swap. I think I'm just gonna remove these 4 little screws here, and then the other one should fit right on. But before we get into that, let's open the new one and take a look at it. All right, let's crack on into this thing. Dart Flyscreens, pretty nice branded box. The image is of a clear fly screen, but for this bike, I did not go with the clear. I actually went with the black translucent, so the darkest one they make. The last time I went with the middle one, there's clear, smoked, and then black. Smoked is on the bike, black is going on. It's the first time I'm seeing it too, so we'll check it out together. Woo! Straight out the gate, I don't know if you guys can see that, but scratched from the factory. That's not great. Let's see if it's just, maybe I can buff it out. No, that is definitely scratched through and through. Luckily, it is going on a bike that is going to get it scratched anyway, so I'm not really that worried about it, but a little knock for quality control there. It is scratched there and there. Pretty minor. It looks like maybe it just like rubbed up against something. It might have even happened in the box, but doesn't matter. It's still going to go on the bike. I like it. And then there's another little box in here that is probably the hardware, I'm guessing, which I don't think I'm going to need because I am switching from the same brand. So I'm going to take this bracket, hold it up to the other one, and just see if they're the same, and I'll let you know, just in case you decide to switch yours. No point in taking the whole thing off if this is identical. So these brackets are actually different. This one has this cool little adjustable piece here that allows you to kind of dial in where it leans back and like has its like final stopping point. Whereas this one is just a single piece of metal with a little bit of an L-bend here that once you get it all tightened up, you push it all the way back so that that L-bend makes contact and keeps it from having this kind of motion, you know? The wind can't push it back because it is permanently stopped against there. While I think I could attach the new windscreen to this same bracket, this one's better. So step 1 is going to be getting all the old stuff off. Alright, if you want to save yourself some time later on in life, once you get this screw out, what you're going to want to do is move the bracket out the way and then put the screw back in. That's going to help you keep your headlight aligned at its height angle so that you don't have to adjust it. So it has moved a little bit, but I'm gonna throw that back in there just to kind of lock it in place. That way my headlight doesn't drop all the way down when I relieve all the pressure. And then I'm figuring out how much I have to lift it to get my like beam angle right again. So just throw that back in there. I'm just gonna spin it around one time with my wrench here, just to kind of keep it a little bit dialed at its angle. Perfect. And then we can go around and release the other side without this whole thing just dropping down. All right, now that that one is good and snug back up, we can release this one. And if all goes according to plan, we won't lose our headlight angle completely. So get that, oh my God, it's stuck. Get that out of the way. And then throw this boy back in there for now. Okay. Pretty good, pretty good. All right, that is off. Brackets are still on there. I'm probably gonna store it this way just in case I wanna put it back on. It'll just be ready to rock. So I'm opening the bag of parts here and it all looks really familiar. I'm gonna talk you through it just like I did on the last one because this may be your first time watching one of these installs and you don't know what we did the last time. So I'll go through it, but it's really easy. And seeing all the parts it's identical. It's gonna be the same exact thing that I'm used to. So should be fairly quick. So we want to start with these little itty bitty rubber grommets. These are going to go into the screen itself. They need to get pushed into the little holes. So you're just going to kind of squeeze them up, compress them on themselves, and pop them into the holes as best you can. Those are going to be a nice little layer of protection. For one, to keep it from vibrating, but for two, to keep it from just cracking when you tighten some screws down on it. So that is one pressed in there perfectly. That is one without it. You need to put all four in. I'm going to do that now off camera because it's boring to watch. All right, so all four of those rubber grommets are installed. But while doing that, I realized there's a big scratch right there, as well as the scratches we saw when we first opened it up. Which leads me to believe one of two things. Either this is a previously installed part that somebody returned and Dart didn't realize that it was damaged when they got it returned to them, or it got damaged while they were packaging it up or something. I could ship it back and get a brand new one, but ultimately I think I'd just be delaying the inevitable. This is going on a bike that's gonna go off-road and down the highway, so rocks are gonna hit it. It's gonna get scratched anyway. We're just kind of jumping the gun by them sending me a scratched one. If I were to return it, this one would just go to waste. It'd be more plastic waste in the world, which we definitely don't need, as well as all the emissions and like the carbon footprint of it getting on a truck to go back and then going through their warehouse, whatever, a bunch of hands having to touch it, wasted manpower, and then shipping a new one to me, more emissions. For the greater good and just to kind of be less wasteful, I'm still gonna run it. It would have been cool to get a discount because it's damaged because I'm cheap, but ultimately, totally fine. We're still gonna run it. Next up, we got a handful of hardware here. Most of the stuff's gonna be identical to the stuff that's already on the bike from the other one. So we're not gonna use any of that. The exception is gonna be these guys who are, let's see if we can get that in focus. These are the ones that are gonna attach the windscreen to the bracket itself. So we do need those, but otherwise everything should be identical, I'm guessing. So what I'm gonna do next is try to get one of the brackets on like I showed you earlier. You don't wanna do both at once. So I'm gonna get one on, tighten it back down, then do the other one, tighten it back down, and then we'll try to get the actual screen on. All right, we got that screw out. We're gonna try to get it back in now with the bracket behind it. Line that up perfect. From your angle, the headlight might be moving a lot, but from mine, it's not moving at all. So ignorance is bliss. I'm sure y'all will let me know in the comments though. You guys are really good at pointing out things that I miss. But yeah, this is pretty good so far. I think this thing is just gonna help me slide up and adjust angle. But yeah, we'll tighten this screw in a bunch and then we'll go around to the other side and do the same. All right, a little bit of a hiccup. I don't know where I sat the other bracket down, so I'm gonna search around the workshop here, find that other bracket, and then we'll get it installed. A slight little delay. Bracket secured. Let's get this screw out, and same thing, just get that bracket attached. Cleverly, I left the bracket right next to the bike where it went, which is a smart place. If future me could have remembered that past me left it there. But we got it, nonetheless, we're good to go. Let's get this out. Bracket goes on, and we should be, going to both brackets are on and they're kind of finger tight snugged up, so I'm gonna get the actual fly screen on now and then we'll figure out angle and these little adjustable bits there. That little piece of hardware I mentioned earlier is gonna go through there and then thread straight into the bracket. I'll start with the top here, just get one of those going and then we'll go from there. we got all of those finger tight in there, I'm just putting a wrench to them to make sure that they're nice and snug and not going to go anywhere. We don't want to over tighten them because this is made of plastic. We're not trying to crack anything, but I also don't want this flying off and hitting me in the face on the highway when I'm doing exactly the speed limit, because that's what you should do. We never speed on this channel. All right, so I got these lined up as good as I can right now, and if that camera will pick it up, you can see that the Marlin is much longer than the Classic, or much taller, I should say, and a little bit wider there because of those kickouts. So if you're really trying to go for aerodynamics and keeping yourself out of the wind, this is the better unit, full stop. I also think that that curve there is gonna allow the wind to flow over more smooth. So what would you guys do? Let me know down in the comments. Would you go with the form of the Classic here that just looks better and fits the bill better, especially in that dark color? Or would you go with the function of the Marlin there? It's wider, it's taller, it's concaved, it's gonna keep you out of the wind way better. Let me know in the comments which one you would choose. As of right now, I think I'm going with this one just because, again, I really like the way it looks, and your boy is a little vain, but let me know what you would do. All right, so that's gonna go ahead and conclude this one. If you guys liked it, make sure you go ahead and hit thumbs up, and if you haven't yet, please, 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 please hit subscribe. And lastly, make sure you drop that comment below. Let me know which one you like more. I will see you on the next one. Peace.